Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about 13 creepy and most common superstitions. So we're going to start with number 13, where rocking an empty chair. Now, sometimes I know it's probably tempting to rock an empty chair, but what you're doing is that you might as well just sit in the chair yourself because you have invited a evil spirit to come into your life. Basically, that's what that means. And that is according to a Southern superstition. But in another one, if you stand up from a rocking chair and it continues to rock after you're up, you will be sick the next year. Number 12 is holding your breath when you're passing a cemetery. I've heard some people doing this, but I never knew the reason until now. So the reason why you hold your breath when you're passing cemeteries is because if you breathe past a cemetery, an evil spirit or a recently deceased spirit would want to take residence in your body because you're breathing past the cemetery. So like it invites them in, it gives them a chance to get in. So that's why they say hold your breath when you're passing a cemetery so they cannot get in. And that is according to another Southern superstition that is still practiced in some Southern states today. So number 11 is chewing gum at night. Now, when I read this one, I was like, wait, what? So this is a Turkish superstition that you don't chew gum at night. When you chew gum at night, the gum itself will turn into flesh of the dead. And that alone is just, that's really gross to think about. But that is their superstition. So don't chew gum at night. Number 10 is a black cat crossing your path. Now, I used to have a black cat and she was the sweetest thing in the world and she always crossed my path. So around the 13th century, I believe that it is, it was said that the Pope warned against black cats because they said that it was the devil in disguise. And they also said that black cats, when they purr, they are helping put a curse on you from witches. Like they work with witches, which means I must be very cursed because my cat always purred. Number 9 is whistling. So apparently whistling attracts tragedy. So in Turkey, it is believed that when you whistle at night, you are summoning the devil. And then in other parts of the country, they believe that whistling indoors will bring bad luck and burn the house to the ground. But in Russia, they believe that it will cause financial ruin. Number 8 is singing at the dinner table. Now, they believe that singing at the dinner table will summon evil spirits. So this is a Dutch superstition that is common in North Carolina. And how this happened is very uncertain where the origin of this belief comes, but other people think that they just wanted to have a quiet dinner and they didn't want them to sing. Number 7 is trimming your nails after dark. So in Turkey and India, they believe that if you trim your nails after dark, it will cause bad luck. But in Japan, they believe that if you trim your nails after dark, you will cause a premature death, like your own premature death. But Koreans, they believe, and this is the most wild, they believe that discarded nail clippings, if they're eaten by rats, they will morph into monsters and terrorize you in your sleep. Number 6 is the umbrella. Now, we all know what I'm about to say, but opening an umbrella inside. I don't know how many people have heard this when they've been growing up, but I've heard this quite a lot. And I even had someone get mad at me recently because I accidentally opened an umbrella inside. So I work inside a guard shack, and with the umbrella, the latch to keep it down is broken. So I undid the ties on it and I didn't know it was broken until it just kind of flung open on me. And the person I was working with actually got really mad because I did that. But what they say will happen if you do this. So in the 18th century, they didn't want you opening umbrellas inside because it was mainly made of metal and they were worried about people getting injuries, which doesn't really sound like a superstition. But here's the weird thing. I got to the Egyptian part and they believe, because they would use it to shield them from the sun when they're outside, right? Well, they believe that if you open it inside, away from the sun, that is insulting to the sun god, who then might take revenge on the entire household. Number 5 is the thumbs being tucked in a cemetery. The Japanese superstition is that you need to keep your thumbs tucked when you're in the cemetery for whatever reason of a graveside service or visiting somebody. It is the reason why they say to keep it tucked is to protect your parents from death. And then there's a Japanese exclamation of why, but I'm not going to butcher the Japanese language, but basically how you pronounce parent in Japanese. So here's how it says, right? This is how it's spelled. So the last part of it means finger, apparently, if I got that correct. So that's why they say, you know, protect your main fingers, your main thumbs. Number 4 is walking under ladders. This I've heard, but I've never really taken it seriously because I kind of do it all the time. Granted, it's more of a safety thing, but here's the superstition for it. So with the ancient Egyptians, they believe that, you know, the triangle of it, right, is sacred to the gods. So going through it offends the gods, basically, and that will bring misfortune. And then another theory is that the criminals, when they used to be hung, they would have to climb a ladder and then they would fall to their death, right? They say that the spirit of the deceased is stuck underneath that ladder. So that's why they say don't go underneath the ladder, it will cause bad luck, and so on. Number 3 is don't place mirrors facing each other. This I know from a paranormal stance is that it will cause a portal. And with the Mexican legends, they also agree that it will cause a portal. It will, I don't know why it has to be the mirror part of it, but facing 2 mirrors together will cause a portal. And it will invite unhappy entities to enter your home. Number 2 is breaking a mirror. 7 years of bad luck, baby. So the Romans believe that the mirrors can see our souls, and then when the mirror is broken, will cause damage to that soul for 7 years. Another belief by the Romans is they believe that our souls are renewed every 7 years, and that when you break a mirror, it will cause 7 years of bad luck for that soul. Basically a 7-year sentence. So you're basically in trouble with your soul and you get jail time, basically. Number 1, and this one annoys me to no end, is the number 13. My birthday's on the 13th. So at least every so often it falls on a Friday. I personally, before I get into the superstition, I don't have a problem with Friday the 13th. I never had anything bad happen on it. My dad had his cancer surgery on the 13th. I was born on the 13th. I've never had anything really bad happen, so I'm just okay with Friday the 13th. But granted, on Friday the 13th, I'll walk around and go, it's Friday the 13th. Ooh. But here's what apparently is supposed to happen. So at least 10% of the US population believes that Friday the 13th is cursed. Even to the point that some businesses, some buildings don't have a 13th floor because they believe it's cursed. Some believe that it stems back from the 13th stems from Judas's arrival as the 13th guest to the Lord's Supper. The ancient god Loki, who arrived as the 13th guest of a dinner party that was upsetting to the other gods, and he basically introduced evil and turmoil into the world. But however, the origin could go further than that, to the ancient civilization of saying 12 is the perfect number, and that shows in the calendars and measurements and casting the shadow of 13 being an unlucky number. So what do you guys think of these 13 superstitions? I was not really surprised that the mirror and 13 and black cats, they were all in them. I did remember a little bit about the thumb though, so that was pretty interesting to know exactly why they say it. I hope you guys liked the video. Leave a like, let me know which one was your favorite in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe because I do keep in count. I am watching, and I've noticed that still a lot of people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you guys can do me a favor and make sure to subscribe, that would be great. We are so close to hitting 200 subscribers, so let's go ahead and keep doing our best of getting further up there. So make sure you guys subscribe. I would love to see you guys again in the next video. I will talk to you guys later. Make sure to stay safe out there and always stay spooky. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.